unpopular opinion alert, I say this with utmost caution and compassion. Regretful consensual sex is not rape. It can be extremely heartbreaking. It can be traumatic. It can even give rise to depressive episodes for some people, lead to anxiety attacks. I am aware of the worst possible psychological impacts of such a situation. However, we need to understand that when we are talking about a criminal offense, it is criminologically justified and justifiable for a breach of consent about the moment in question being criminalized and just that part of consent being criminalized. Because if we are talking about criminalizing consent for future prospects as well, then the question also arises that how far are we willing to allow legal interference? How far are we willing to allow law to hand us out a checklist of how to take our relationship forward? To build a safe community, we need loving, thriving relationships built on trust. And vicarious fear, which is fear based on news and possibilities and other situations and what we hear from neighbors and what we read in the newspapers. Vicarious fear is one of the most ignored reasons of lack of trust and commitment in intimate relationships in today's world, especially with social media being added to the mix. So, do we need a legal recourse for situations, for incidences where there is a breach of consent, where there is a disrespect and disregard for consent about the moment in question? Absolutely yes, because that is a very bare minimum level of humanity to maintain for civil coexistence. However, if we are talking about justice in terms of feeling cheated on and betrayed when it comes to consent for future prospects, relationships are not exactly black and white. However, a legal procedure has to be. And for a healthy, progressive society, where everyone, irrespective of gender, is allowed to make conscious decisions for what they are willing to allow or not allow in their own personal, intimate lives, it is important that not everything is brought under the ambit of the law, and not every aspect, every nuance of intimate relationship is put on trial for judgment of criminality or criminal tendency.